Truth.
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 Welcome to Trusting the Truth with Samuel Tolley, where we view the world through the lens of Jesus Christ. We do not view Jesus Christ through the lens of the world. How you doing? This is Sam Tolley with Trusting the Truth. I've been away making some changes, so I haven't been posting like I normally would, but I'm getting back in the saddle. And I'm here to tell you that the Democratic Party hasn't changed one bit. As we approach these midterms, people need to take a serious look at the stuff they're doing, the destruction. Now, I know that we have problems in this country. I know that things aren't the way we would like them to go, but I can assure you things would be a heck of a lot worse if you let Democrats get back in charge. And what they're doing to our children is just one of them. I want to show you what's going on in Minnesota. Isn't that the state that the so-called, that is the state where Harris was going to take Walsh to be the vice president. Look what these people are doing to the children. Let's look at this article. Now, this article is from Breitbart. Now, see, the thing about it is the news media is supposed to help us. They are supposed to be the referees, but they're not the referees. They are, by and large, controlled by the left. The left is controlled by the Democrats, the socialists, the communists, the Marxists, the LGBTQ. And look at this nonsense. Minnesota splashes taxpayer cash on trans dolls for classrooms, 4-year-olds in Walsh back push. That reminds me, I made a post a few days ago, and the post asked, how many transgenders were born in 2025? And of course, sort of a rhetorical question, because of course none. They're never born. You're born male or female. And I had this one guy that wrote me back and says, what difference does it make to you, a-hole? Now, I blocked him, and I'm gonna put this warning out to let you know. I made it clear. I appreciate differences of opinion. I don't have a problem with people that don't agree with everything I say. I have a problem with people that cannot articulate their position without profanity and vulgarity. If you have an opinion that is worth stating publicly, then state it in a manner that children can hear, because children are the ones ultimately that are going to take over. Many of the people that I communicate with these days, the adults, they're not going to change. They're going to believe what they're going to believe. But children, their minds are not fully functional yet. Their minds are still growing. Their minds are open. You see little kids, they will embrace just about anything that's put in front of them. And so I want to leave a legacy of at least the things that I articulate, children can repeat if they choose to without modifying their language. And I definitely don't want them talking inappropriately. So I will say this again, for those of you that watch my videos or my podcasts or see my posts, and you disagree with me and you want to comment on that specific thing that I wrote about or spoke about, do so, but do it in an intelligent, informative manner. Stay on topic and don't use profanity or ad hominem attacks. Meaning, don't sit over there and insult or attempt to insult me, because you don't like what I say. Present your argument clearly, and then we can maybe have a discussion. Maybe you want to come on the podcast and we can talk about it. But as far as just, going out there and acting like somebody in the 6th grade, I'm not going to have it. So anyway, Here, Governor Walsh, the guy whose state, has got all these Somalis in there illegally, and people that have been ripping off the state, they're pushing for these trans dolls for 4-year-olds. Look at this. It says Minnesota is ready to hand transgender dolls with removable, interchangeable genitals to children as young as 4 years old in their school classrooms. Now, come on, people. Does this make any sense? I've never seen anything so weird. We've gotten so debased that we're going to try to tell children that their sexual parts can be interchangeable. Everybody knows that there's no such thing. Now, you can sit over there and castrate a little boy and make a fake vagina, but he'll be wearing dildos stuck inside his body for the rest of his life. So the sore, because that's what the body looks at, that hole, that fake vagina, that sore doesn't heal and close up. And they haven't perfected a fake penis that is worth anything to put on a female. All you've done is messed up a couple of lives. Anyway, the New York Post reports, and by the way, this article was written on July the 26th. July the 26th, a few days ago. The New York Post writes, first of their kind, multiple sex dolls will debut in some Minnesota classrooms this fall with junior students specifically targeted. Now look at this. Look at this. Why are they even going there? Little kids. If you're 4-year-old, you're not even in kindergarten. At least when I was going to school, you didn't start kindergarten until you were 5. Little kids can barely go to the bathroom. What is their entrance in sexual organs other than they use them to relieve themselves? Why are they doing this? They're doing this because, like I said in my post, transgenders are not born. They're made. And children are sponges. They will absorb what you give them. They will absorb anything. The paper dolls with gender neutral names like Sam, oh, thanks a lot, Roy, Avery, and Parker have removable internal and external, wow, genitals, along with more than 100 interchangeable pieces of clothing, accessories, and hairstyles, like a trans Mr. and Mrs. Potato Head, the Post report notes. Isn't that something? Instead of teaching these kids how to read, how to think, how to listen and evaluate nonsense, they're trying to sexualize these little kids. The outlet further records the goal is for kids to learn about the different options that exist for who they can be. That is a lie. You can only be what God made you to be. You can mutilate yourself. You can sit over there and lie to yourself, but your DNA is not changing. You are who you are. Now, you can jack yourself up. And as an adult, if you're over 18 and you're legally able to do anything else, and if you want to mess up your life, so be it. But why mess up the lives of little kids? And why on earth would anybody tolerate this? Why do Democrats tolerate this? I don't know. I don't get it. I honestly wonder what is wrong with those people that they will vote for people that will do stuff like this. Let's continue with this. According to a therapist at the University of Minnesota Medical School, which spent over half a decade developing the controversial project made possible by leftist Minnesota Governor Tim Walsh through the generous splashing of taxpayer funds. Isn't Minnesota going through enough hell? I mean, you have all this fraud. Aren't there people that really need government assistance? I mean, real assistance. Instead of trying to debase the minds of children and destroy their bodies. This is why I don't understand folks in the Democrat Party. If you don't like Republican politics or certain aspects of Republican thinking or conservative thinking or even Christian thinking, I get that. I understand that. That's okay. Those are things that we can talk about. Those are things we can discuss. But why do you people tolerate destroying the lives of kids? Why would you people be silent and continue to vote for folks? And when the best thing they can tell you is Trump is racist and he's evil. This is evil. Don't you people love your children? Or do you think, well, it's not going to happen to yours? These things bother me. It makes me wonder what's wrong with you people. And then the ones that try to say that you love the Lord and you want to just brutalize children. There's no call for this. This is totally unnecessary. Who made a demand for this? Where is the demand for interchangeable sexual objects for 4-year-olds on a doll? Only a deviant mind and a demonic presence can make something like this make sense. And to make the vast majority of people tolerate, accept, and keep voting for people who do this. It's demonic. Okay, where are we? The move is part of a project under the auspices of the school's Eli Coleman Institute for Sexual and Gender Health. Sound like sexual and gender destruction to me. My Gender Dolls website, I haven't been on there, offer few details about the project, but said join the wait list and launching in 2026. So there's a wait list for these dolls built to help children tell their stories and see themselves represented. Tell their stories and see themselves represented. Isn't it the parent's job to represent their child and to program their child and to mold their child and to raise their child? My Gender Dolls promote resilience, confidence, and joy through structured, engaging play. My Gender Dolls are designed for the clinicians and educators who show up for these kids every day. Yeah, to indoctrinate them, providing developmentally appropriate, evidence informed resources that didn't exist before. Part of that statement is true. Not the developmentally appropriate or evidence informed, but the fact that they didn't exist before. This is evil, and this is something that never should have happened. They come with interchangeable accessories and removable and swappable genitalia to help children realize all the different options that exist for who they can be, regardless of their body parts. University of Minnesota postdoctoral fellow Ben Parcham, PhD, has explained. He is quoted in a now deleted article in the University of Minnesota's Foundation magazine. Why is it deleted? Look, people, let me say something here. This is nonsense. Let me get over here. This is nonsense, and it never should have happened. Total nonsense. I don't even understand it. I don't even understand anyone that would tolerate this mess. You Democrats claim they love children. How can you love children with this? How can you love your children with this? These people don't love their children. These people hate their children. These people hate God. They hate the Bible. They hate anything of a biblical worldview. If you are going to do this to your child, you don't love them. You hate them. You don't love children. You don't love God. You don't love Christianity. You don't love any of that stuff. You don't even love yourself. You're deluded. You're mentally polluted, and you need to stop. People need to wake up. And people, I just thank God that Waltz wasn't made vice president, that Harris wasn't made president. This kind of stuff. Now think about it. They were letting in millions of illegals that don't belong here. They're still polluting the minds of our children, and they're running around here talking about uh, all this vile, stupid stuff, and no borders, and letting anybody vote is all a recipe to destroy this country. That's what's happening. They just want to destroy this country. You people that call yourself Democrats, you need to take over that party and put in decent folks, or you need to destroy that party. And I think God is in the process of destroying it. It needs to be destroyed. You need something else. I think that we need a two-party system. I believe in at least a two-party system because man is a flawed creature and we're going to screw up and we need a counterbalance. And we don't have one. We got folks that's on the right, many of them that believe in the Lord. Yeah, we got some extreme people, but these folks on the left are gone. There's no more Democrat Party. It's a socialist, communist party that is aligned with Islamists. And all the Islamists want to do is use those folks so they can take over, get rid of the conservative folk, and then they're going to take over the whole thing if they can. But this destruction of our children, this is something that it shouldn't even be a political thing. It should be a thing where we have to say, stop it. And you people that are tolerating it, you need to stop it. You need to stop it now. This doesn't make sense. This is evil. And I'm out.